What is up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, and this is the show for the realists. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society, and welcome to reality. Guys, today we have an awesome episode for you. Going to be a full-length episode. I'm going to get right into it. I got a good friend of mine who's come on the show. We've been trying to get this show together for a number of years now. Somebody I have a lot of respect for, especially what they're doing, especially what they're about. I've got my good friend Pete Roberts here sitting in the studio. What's up, brother?
Thanks for having me.
Man,
stoked to be here.
Awesome to have you. If you guys don't know who Pete is the founder and CEO of Origin and also Jocko Fuel. He's partnered with Jocko and good friend of mine as well. And they're doing some amazing things in business. And so we want to sit down and just have a conversation. DJ's on the show too. What's up, dude?
What's up, guys?
Yeah. So this would be a full-length episode. And if you tune in other times, you're going to find out that we have multiple sorts of episodes, different kinds of variety, plethora of episodes, I guess is the word I'm looking for. We have Q&A. We have Real Talk, which is 20 minutes of me just talking shit. And then we have CTI, which is our current event show. It's where we pull up topics on the screen. We might pull up a couple topics today if we get into it too much. And then we make fun of them. That's what we do. So this is a full-length episode. We're going to talk about a lot of important things that are going on in the world and some of the great things that you guys are doing over at Origin. If you guys don't know, tell them what you do, man, about Origin. Something that I've admired what you guys have been doing because it very much so aligns with what we believe here as well at First Form, which is very pro-America, American jobs, American products, top to bottom. And while we are not completely made in America yet, you guys are. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I guess when you distill it all down, you could say we're trying to bring the knowledge back and the machines and rebuild America's communities that have been abandoned over the past, let's say 20 years. And so kind of without compromise, trying to build stuff in America, which we've, took a decade to try to figure out. But now we're full blown making stuff in America from the field in Texas and Tennessee Delta region, the cotton field, all the way up through spinning, weaving, knitting, and obviously cutting and sewing manufacturing, but on an American supply chain, which I like to refer to as the Origin Factory blockchain, which is a blockchain of manufacturing, which is all local, all the components sourced in America. So there's no greenwashing or there's no lies behind, we're bringing this part in from here and that part in from there, and we're assembling it in America. So it's just a different way of approaching it. I'd say a little bit of a crime of passion.
Let's talk about that passion. Why? What got you interested in this?
I think I explain it as a market dynamic. So I'm a Gen Xer. I'm 43 years old.
Same.
Yeah, same.
Same
So
age.
We knew our grandparents. My grandfather fought in World War II. I listened to his stories about coming over here to America as a first generation Greek immigrant working in the Peabody tanneries in Ipswich, in Peabody, Massachusetts, pulling tacks out of the leather hides. My great grandmother working at the Lowell spinning mills as a Lowell mill girl. And, you hear these stories, and although they're like, you shouldn't work in a factory, you should get your education. They romanticized about the hard times. And it was always something in the back of my head. And then you've got the Gen Xers, and we basically heard these stories firsthand. And then our kids, I have kids, 17 and 20, they didn't have those direct stories or the direct experiences firsthand. They learned most of their information through a 2x5 screen. And so they've never really had any true experiences. They don't know where their stuff comes from. They don't know where their stuff is made. They don't even know who's making it. And so you have this dynamic of the greatest generation. They're dying off right now, and they're almost gone. And their stories are left with us, the Gen Xers, the ones who right now are the next to step up and hopefully change the course of America. That's my goal, at least. Let's shift direction.
Yeah.
Let's make a pivot, because if we don't,
Something we share in common.
it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
And so Origin exists to bring not America back to its roots, but the ideals of what this country was founded on. Of course, I'm from New England, and a lot of it kind of started there in the mills and factories. And I watched the mills shut down. Graduating high school, 1997, 1998, the Bass Shoe Factory shut down. The Hathaway Shirt Factory shut down. These factories, one by one, started shutting down, not just in New England, but across the country. So all of us here in this room, I'm sure, and folks listening, in some way have been connected to this. And I just think between the whatever politicians, the corporate raiders, ultimately greed lives in all circles. It doesn't care if you're right or left. Greed doesn't care. Greed can hop around, and that's what happened. Is greed tore the country apart, sent it and sold it to the lowest bidder, and we're left holding what? The past.
Yeah.
And what does that do? Well, it drives all sorts of substance abuse, drugs, alcohol, depression, communities deteriorated, people relying on the government to make decisions for them. And you just end up in a very dangerous cycle. So Origin exists to proliferate a different message, a different idea that if we look back, we can learn, but we can do it a better way. And we got to take care of one another. So that's really the long-winded way, the long-winded answer.
Dude, I think it's spot on, man. I think people don't think enough about, I had this guy one time who I'm a really good guy. He's a very wealthy guy. He's a tech guy, and he's from China. Okay. Very, very, very smart man, good man, a lot of respect for him. And him and I were having this exact conversation about how, we are doing some of the similar things that you guys are doing in terms of bringing everything back to sourced here, made here, the jobs here. And that's very difficult to do in our industry because a lot of the ingredients that are made aren't made in the United States yet. So that's where we struggle. And that's some of the things that we're working to overcome. But he argued with me, and he's a very, very smart guy, much smarter than me. He goes, well, look, man, I appreciate that passion, but here's the thing. If you're buying t-shirts in Guatemala, you can take the people here in the United States that would make your t-shirts and you can give them better jobs. And we got in this argument about it because I'm like, well, yeah, dude, but here's the thing. Not everybody can do those jobs. And so what people forget is that simple manufacturing jobs are required for people to have purpose. When you're talking about the drugs and the broken homes and like here in the Midwest, we got a meth problem, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of places in the country have it now, but those things didn't happen when people had shit to do and they could earn money. Right. And
100%.
And we've lost that in America because of what you said, because dude, these dudes that were manufacturing, when we were coming out of high school, they wanted to get bigger at any cost. And they sold our manufacturing to other countries. And then we were left with a class of people who were manufacturing class, hardworking, blue collar people with nothing to do. And dude, that's killing our country, and people don't realize that.
Yeah, we can't be a service-based nation. And we really can't even be a nation that's a middleman. You have to make stuff. You got to have some type of resource that you turn into something to offer someone. And I'm not against trade. People think, oh, well, Pete, maybe he's like a protectionist. No, I'm actually I think trade is very important. We have to have trade to have, the poverty level of the past 25 years has gone way down globally. It's a big deal, and trade is important in that respect. But I don't think you should sell yourselves out and sell your soul. And I say that's where greed comes into play for sure. But it's for me, when I look at the people, and if you look in our brand book, Origin brand book, the first thing is we start with people, and what that means is we do put people first. Not everybody, I'm a college dropout.
Same.
Not everybody is going to go to college, and not everybody wants to. Between the trades, and of course, there's not a lot of factory jobs now, but factory jobs are some of the most fulfilling jobs. When you're working on something, at the end of the day, you turn around and you look back and you say, man, I built that. I made that thing. But the cool thing is now in this day and age with technology, there's a relationship between the maker and the consumer. And our goal is to connect the maker and the consumer. Right now, there's consumerism without knowing who makes the stuff. And it drives fast fashion. It drives, like throwing out goods, landfills, greenwashing. Like it drives this. It just drives something that we're not all about. And we're all about like build things to last a lifetime. We hope you wear it out. We promise it'll never fail you. So
now I have a couple products of yours and I can attest to that.
Yeah. Awesome.
They are well made.
Yeah. I mean,
the best made jeans ever. Period.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's freaking awesome to hear that.
It's the truth.
And I just like, if you walk through our factories, and we're not as big as you guys. And this is, by the way, walking through this place is freaking inspiring, because I hope to do the same thing, build a campus for Origin, America's future factory, in an old farmland in Maine. That's the goal. That's the dream. And so like seeing you guys doing what you're doing is like just phenomenal.
Well, I think we inspire each other, bro.
Yeah. I appreciate that. So you've got, like, if you walk through the factory, and we have factories in Maine and North Carolina, and about 500 employees. And in Maine, you're going to see 60% of the employees, maybe even 70%, are between the ages of 20 and 30.
Wow.
And people walk in for the first time, they're like, what is this? And I'm like, well, and I explain to them the market dynamics, the greatest generation, the Gen Xers, and these kids who haven't had any real experiences. When these kids walk in a factory for the first time and see something being made, like a pair of jeans or a hoodie or a pair of boots, and see these looms going. I got a kid who runs the weave room up in Maine. He's 24 years old. He's the only one with the knowledge to do that in New England. And he's passing knowledge on to two other 20-year-olds. Because the old timer who taught him passed away a couple years ago, and he's the one that got us started. So like the knowledge is disappearing. And there was a guy during the free trade in the 90s, during the NAFTA, but ultimately it was the World Trade Organization, the WTO. And he sat there, I think it was in front of Congress, whatever. And he said, who the hell wants to sit in front of a sewing machine? He made a comment and a decision for the American people in the factories around America because of his worldview about them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a judgment against the people doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, there's a lot of damn people that want to do the work.
Not only that, dude. It's an insult.
100%.
It's a mirror of the total disconnection of those fuckers up in Washington. I don't know how you feel about cursing, but
good to go. My wife, I'm the balance. My wife curses like a sailor.
All right.
And I'm the balance.
Okay. Yeah. That's what they are. Okay. And they are totally disconnected from the working class. Like
yes.
you sent me that picture of you flying in, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday. And it's beautiful landscape here in the Midwest, and they call it the flyover states.
Yeah.
And it's so disrespectful to the majority. People don't understand. That's the majority of America. The majority of Americans are rural Americans. They are people who need shit to do.
Yep.
And we want to produce things. And these people continuously do this, man. And I don't understand when they're going to figure out, Trump was on it a little bit. Like Trump gets it when it comes to that. The American made stuff. But like, I cannot understand. Like, is this just a thing where they're getting paid to do this shit?
It's actually it's a slow drip of propaganda. And that propaganda started, in the late 80s, the early 90s. After World War II, we had it wasn't sanctions, but they called them quotas.
Mm-hmm.
And so the US had folks that would go around to every country and allow so much to be imported into America. The problem was with the instability post World War II, after the Allied powers, Russia went back, they took East Berlin, and the Allies, we took the West, is trying to nation build, because it's really this idea of free market capitalism versus communism. And America decided it would sacrifice itself. And, someone's going to beat me up about this, but I have my perspective also. Growing up, really, in a very
well, we hate communists here, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, so it's like you've got this post World War II mindset, America trying to nation build. Well, guess what you do to nation build? You open up America for trade. We've got the biggest consumer base. We spend the most money. So if you open up America for trade and you let these countries manufacture, well, then you kind of have control over them. At least they're on a leash, so to speak. So they're not going too far into communism, and it's just a way to try to keep control. And you heard Ross Perot say it. You're going to hear a giant sucking sound of your jobs and factories going south. Mm-hmm. Well, the WTO is even worse because it just got spread, and it's like we took the moral high ground, and we don't know what's happening overseas and who's doing what. You can dig in and you can figure it out, but the sacrifice was the people and the communities. Our government, politicians teamed up with corporate raiders, and they sacrificed the American people. And then they said, and you can't bring it back. And then I said, that's fucking bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You can, because what you're saying is propaganda. And you're living in a world 40 years old, and I'm living in a world and I don't know any better because I'm naive enough to think that we can do this. And
I think we have to do it.
Man, we got to.
I don't think like guys in our position, and this is kind of getting off the subject a little bit, but I almost feel like our generation has failed to step into the leadership that it needs to preserve what's going on in this country, and the good things that this country is representing. I mean, I know we've had a lot of interference and an abnormal amount of interference from our government. But dude, it's our time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And these old people who are going to be dead in 5 or 10 years have sold all of our shit. They've sold all the places of American pride. Like when you used to go to a small town and you would meet people in a small town and they would say, well, I work over at the, shoe factory.
Yep.
And they'd be, but they'd be decked out in those shoes and their family wore those shoes. And like it becomes a sense of pride and community. And I personally believe that a lot of the reason that they are removing this is to demoralize our nation so that we can become a more, I think the eventual goal is absolutely communism. But we run into a situation where all of these things are getting removed. Our communities have no pride. Our communities are turning to self-destruction. And when you have no pride in your community, how can you have pride in your country?
Yeah. And to your point, like the communities and the factories were the melting pot of America.
Mm-hmm.
People from all different backgrounds came together to do hard things together. And so there was kind of a common and mutual respect. I know it was imperfect. I've got old timers that work for me that worked in these old factories, and I've heard the stories, but it was at least people believed in something together, and they were willing to trust one another, to have their back, to watch that machine, like to take care of one another. And now we're so separated. It's almost like, and you mentioned Trump earlier, and he had some good policies. He just, from my perspective, he wasn't the best at uniting people. He led by a little bit by dividing people. Like, I'm going to speak to this consumer base, which is great marketing, by the way.
I totally agree with you.
But it's like this, but I'm going to talk shit about these guys. And it's like, well, how are you going to get people to listen to you if you aren't uniting? It's not a uniting message.
I agree with that 100%, bro. That's a message that I've tried to communicate. I try to tell people, I'm like, bro, his policies were great. And there's not a person that could argue that.
Yeah.
If you argue that, there's something wrong with your fucking brain. Okay. But at the same time, I also understand the flip side. Like when I look at like how the media was treating him, and because dude, when you have all the fucking cannons coming at your face and nobody gives you credit for the great things you're doing, which he was doing great things, you have to brag. You have to attack. And they put him in that position on purpose to do, to unravel what has been unraveled at this point.
Constantly on defense. But then you have, I don't watch like television, and I don't watch the news. Like
I don't think he had to do it the way he did it. I think
Yeah, he could have done it
if he
differently.
would have, I think if he, in hindsight, I think if he would have just spoke to everybody and been a true united leader, he would have accomplished the goal that he was out to accomplish, which was to remove, or drain the swamp, so to speak, to get rid of the establishment. And he might still do it because it looks like it's happening right now. I mean, maybe it's not drained all the way, but we fucking see who's in there. You know what I'm saying?
Just keep him off Twitter.
Yeah, no shit. But like, had he spoke to everybody, I think it would have accomplished the same goal that he was out to accomplish, because you would have more people buy into his messaging.
And if he could have been like, listen, and of course I don't agree with all of his policies, but there's some certain ones that affected me. Like, I want to make trade fair. I said when we started, like, I believe in free trade. I believe in fair trade, actually. So, I mean, first of all, you got to get people to listen, but there's a lot of like business sense there when talking about free trade and fair trade. And that if we're going to build and export something and someone else is going to build and import something, there should be a fair exchange. It should be a fair exchange, because what screwed this all up is true runaway free market capitalism. It's runaway free market capitalism where it's not fair. It's
unethical.
It's unethical. And if you're
That's
going to,
what we talk about all the time, ethical capitalism.
And there needs to be a change to how we talk about capitalism too, because I look at it in two buckets. I don't look at it as capitalism, communism. I mean, because I think it was Karl Marx who wrote Deus Capital, and then all of a sudden people started referring to it as capitalism. It was just free market is what it was. It's free market, and freedom is the key to that. And then there's communism, and then this idea of capitalism, this term kind of came in the mix, and it gives everyone a finger to point at as capitalism. But when you start talking about free and fair trade and ethical capitalism, like I said, greed plays in all circles. It doesn't matter. Greed doesn't matter. But when you give greed a vote, the worst is going to happen regardless if you're in a society, a free market society like America, or if you're in a communist society like China. I mean, it's actually quite an interesting dynamic. I've been working on a film I was telling you about for a few years, and
it's going on Netflix, right?
Hopefully, we've talked a little bit with Amazon. We've talked to History Channel. They passed on it because there wasn't the right programming, but they were like, "This is freaking phenomenal." We're just not going that direction with programming. But we've self-funded this thing, and we've been all over the world. I've got my exec producer, Steve. He actually is coming back from Europe after 9 months there. He's been here for 9 months, filming, interviewing historians, traveling, doing research, all that stuff. And he's
That's
coming back this weekend. Yeah, I mean, it's freaking incredible what we've discovered. And I'm trying to think about what I can share and can't share. But I'll share some of this about communism, and hopefully he doesn't get pissed off at me. and capitalism and free market. And just to give some context, Steve, I apologize, brother. And I'm not giving the film away, but industrial revolution, Manchester, England, was where these agrarian societies and cottage industries moved from being farmers to working in factories. And it was like 8 men in the factory could do the work of what it took 800 to do. And so this city, Manchester, England, it sprung up. There were some new inventions for machines, and all of a sudden mechanization started. And the infrastructure they built in Manchester, England, could not sustain the machines. It couldn't sustain what the machines needed to be fed. And you have this economy of America supplying cotton, that cotton being turned into fabric in Manchester, England. And there's a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes that I don't want to get into. But when you look at Manchester, England, it was the location that Engels and Marx looked at and saw the oppression of the people and the working conditions, because free market capitalism, there was no human rights in free market capitalism.
Right. They made slaves out of these people.
They made slaves out of them.
Yes.
So slaves in America, slaves in England.
It's taking the worst possible example and making a judgment against entire market.
And so out of Manchester, England, you know, what came out of that was two things: free market capitalism, and from the same city, the ideas for the Communist Manifesto. And these things happened at the same time. People don't realize they sprung from industrialized Manchester, England. And so you have this new idea, but now you have human rights. You know, you have Frederick Douglass over there. He's you know, which is an incredible story. You got Abraham Lincoln fighting on this side in the U.S., trying to abolish slavery and bring people together. But industrialization and the free market is driving the whole thing. It's driving the whole thing. People always seem to self-correct. When pushed far enough, people will come together and there will be some type of rebellion. There will be. It just takes quite a big push to make that happen, because people are scared for whatever reason. But from that industrialization, America started in this direction: the free market, building factories, America's war machine, and World War I, World War II, big time America's war machine. And then you had these ideas for communism go into Russia. Lenin was the first one to really put communism to play. It failed initially. Reading the Communist Manifesto and applying those principles, stripping the food away from his citizens to feed his Red Army, to go on his warmongering, murdering all the elites in Russia, 5 million people starving to death. I'll take the free market and freedom over communism any day. And so what you have is this cycle of, how do I say it? This cycle of greed. It's a cycle of greed is what it is. And it's a cycle of evil. And
it exists in both places.
And it exists in both places. You took the words right out of my mouth. Right. And it exists in both places. Like, and I'm not going to say like, there's people that aren't happy living in China or elsewhere. I know there's happy people, you know, and I don't live there, and I don't have the context to judge, you know, how they go through their life. And I think there's been generational, you know, some generational, let's say, I'll call it not brainwashing, because it's their reality, but
it's all they know.
It's all they know.
How can you explain freedom to someone who's never existed in the front of their face?
Exactly.
It's like explaining a color to a blind person.
Yeah. But there's no upward trajectory.
That's why they talk about, you know, that's what Reagan, when he said freedom's only 1 or 2 generations from being extinct. It's because, and we're close to having that happen here.
Yeah, we are.
You know, because dude, these kids now, and I'm not getting off the topic, but like these kids are 20 years old now. They don't really understand what real freedom looks like. And when they get to be 40, if the people like you and me and the people that are 35 and up don't step the fuck up, we're gonna lose it.
And it all
because it'll rate it. You cannot explain it to someone.
Too far removed,
dude. It's in danger of being extinct globally.
Yes, exactly. And it's actually scary to be raising kids in this day and age. But if we do not learn about where we came from, we are going to make the same mistakes. And because greed doesn't care, greed always is there. And when you look at industrialized Manchester, industrialized America, you know, all these folks who built the infrastructure of the nation, good, bad, and ugly, because there's a lot of ugly. They did something. Communities were built around the mill towns. We had the westward expansion that they call the flyover states. It's the states that are actually feeding the hardworking Americans. You know, those blue collar folks getting up day after day, morning, noon,
3:30 in the morning.
Exactly. Like
going out in the freezing cold, grow your fucking food.
Exactly. So I mean, we're in danger of, because we don't make things anymore, and because our communities are broken, and because people don't have purpose, we're in danger of losing it, really losing it, you know. And it starts with, and I'm not against all social programs. And I like to tell people, like, hey, listen, in 2008, I lost everything, and I had to everything except my home, actually, and barely
Shit,
was
I
able to
didn't
keep
have
on that.
anything then.
Yeah.
I had everything to fucking lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't much, but it was a lot. And like, man, I went on state health. I went on state aid for 6 months, like healthcare. I went on healthcare for 6 months, and I was like, I have 2 young kids. They're freaking both under 5 years old, and you know, but it's supposed to be aid so that you can get back on your feet.
Bridge of a gap.
Yes,
Yeah.
bridging the gap,
bro. There, listen.
Not to be abused.
No, exactly. That's the point. No, see, people here, like when they hear people like you and I speak, they draw conclusions to say that we're against social program. No, dude, I'm not against that. Like there's people in this building who I know for sure have had to use those aids to bridge gaps, who grew up in that situation where their family had a death or unable to provide, or there was a situation where they needed that help. And there's lots of people of all races that need that assistance. This is not a race thing dude, sometimes shit, it just gets really fucking hard. And we have a duty as Americans to take care of our fellow Americans. And that's what those programs exist for. Yeah. But they don't exist for, manipulating the program to get more and more income, and you not doing shit and sitting on the sideline of life while everybody else produces and pays for that. Yeah. That's the most anti-American shit that exists.
That's the danger of it. It's like when you're more incentivized to stay on it, you're not incentivized to get off of it.
We all know that they are incentivized intentionally to stay on it.
100%.
I think that's what's scary is like when I was growing up, I grew up in a one-parent family, and four kids, So I mean, you know about those government provisions, that government cheese, man, that big block of cheese. My mom was on, she was on welfare for a while. She ended up going and getting her degree and then her master's degree, and like the last thing I wanted to do was be part of the cycle. Like I had so much motivation to not to leave where I came from, but to just improve my life. Like I saw my friends' parents and the success they had, and I was like, I remember I was working at a ski mountain, and I used to go up there before all the yuppies.
Out east?
Sugarloaf up in Maine. I used to get up there. I call them yuppies. All the flatlanders used to come up, and I used to scrape the steps going up to the mountain, and they'd show up in their nice cars and all that good stuff. And I remember just thinking, like, why am I here and why are they there? And if I want to be here, what decisions do I need to make now to get there?
Dude, you know what's funny? Now that you're speaking about that, I'm like starting to remember some of the things that like I thought about too. People, because we talked about greed earlier, they think it's greed, but it's not actually greed.
You can take all my shit, man. I live in a damn teepee. I don't give a shit.
Listen, I am an enjoyer of nice shit. All right. Everybody knows that, especially when it comes to cars. But here's the thing. That was only part of it. That's the part we talk about. Like when I talk about, because a lot of people shit on material success. I'm not one of those people because I know how motivating it was for me. However, the main driver for me has always been that I just didn't want to be fucking broke.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be one of these people who had no options, who couldn't make choices, who had to be told what to do. I'm not good at being told what to do. I never have been.
Yeah, same way.
Yeah. So like I just wanted to get myself in a position of financial freedom. You know what I mean? And it was more fear-based than it was like greed-based for me. And I think that reflects in how I operate my companies now, because a lot of people walk in and they say the same thing that you're saying. They're saying, holy shit, this is really cool. And you can feel the vibe and all that. But the reason that all exists is because we actually give a fuck about these people. You know what I'm saying? And we run our company in a different way than what these greed companies, how they run their company.
It's a different type of capitalism.
Yes.
It's very ethical.
That's what DJ and I talk about this all the time, because we do all our 75 hard walks together.
Yeah.
And we talk about fucking everything, right?
Yeah.
So we always talk about, it's not pure capitalism that's good. It's an ethical capitalism where the entrepreneur, me, you, we feel responsible for the lives of the people that we employ. And so we work to create the opportunities for them to grow. I just did a Q&A show. I don't know if it's going to air before or after this show, but I just talked about this I just recorded it an hour ago about how this company for me stopped being about me a long time ago. Like a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's about all these people who come in here every single day and have invested their lives and continue to invest their lives. I want to create lives for them. I want to give them the opportunity. And that's the problem with pure capitalism is it's not that.
Doesn't take people into consideration.
No, fuck no. They look at the people that work for them as a line item.
Yes.
And they say, these people cost me X. Oh, well, the lines don't add up. So we'll just cut 50% of those people. And that's how most businesses are run at a big level. And I want to ask, this is one I've been dying to ask you, but it also, I think this is why I'm seeing this in undisputable data numbers that people are turning away from Globocorps back to pro-America, pro-freedom, non-woke businesses.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, dude, do you, I've been talking about this shift for the last 3 years on this show where people are becoming more and more aware, of woke culture, of the irresponsible capitalism, and what's now that I'm talking it out, it's so weird because these motherfuckers push this woke shit talking about how it's not fair and this and that and this, but they're the first companies to lay off 50,000 people when things ain't right on the books.
And they're going to then turn your attention elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's like that.
They're so full of shit, dude.
And I actually call it like, I say, okay, well, there's this extreme, kind of like they're calling it the wokeness, but I actually say there's an awakening happening.
I agree.
So there's an awakening happening. And if we don't wake up, there's going to be a great reset.
Do you feel that the trend, like, are you seeing that too?
Yeah. People want to be part of something meaningful.
Yeah.
And
because every time I talk about it, Pete, bro, people are like, oh, bro, that's fucking bullshit. That's not the way it is. I'm like, dude, I'm on the ground. I'm telling you what the fuck I see.
I'll tell you, I have moved to Maine in the past year or come on board with the company in the past year. Our new VP of product for Origin came from Under Armour. Our guy that does all of our demand planning, 17 years at Under Armour. Our COO came from Danone, Dan and the yogurt company. We got another guy. Our content media director was the CMO of another company. He came on board, and when I ask all of them why, it's because it's meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
It actually, they want to be part of something that means something, and they don't want to live in a world where they're not proud to raise their kids in. So they want to be part of the change, I guess, part of the awakening of sorts. And I think we've lost our soul a little bit too as a country, but a
lot. And I think it's been intentional.
Yeah. It has 100% has been intentional, but it's very scary to think about where we're at right now. But people it's not all just monetary decision-making. There's decision-making for people that has to do with where they can live, how they can raise their kids, what they're going to be part of for a team, and most importantly, what they're doing day to day and the culture they're going to be part of. And I say, like, we have some workers in our factory in Maine that like have dealt with physical abuse. And I won't go into some of the stories, but some horrendous things. When they're in that factory, it's their sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only their sanctuary if the culture is right. And when they leave at the end of the day, they can't wait to come back the next day because they're not getting fulfillment at home. They're getting fulfillment at work. And I think that putting people first, like you guys do here, like you can walk around here and you can just feel the energy of the team. That is so important for the future growth of America. And that's the only way we're gonna change. If we don't give people a reason why, if we don't give them the why, we will not change. We're going to go deeper and deeper generationally into this dangerous direction and
of no purpose,
no
pride,
no fulfillment.
Yeah, no pride in self, no pride. And we're seeing it.
Yeah,
we're seeing it, and we're seeing it propagated to us everywhere. This is why we see them propagate the 400-pound healthy person, bro. That ain't fucking healthy.
Did you see the food pyramid?
Yeah, bro.
Is that a real thing?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Dude, it's so hard to tell.
Like the magic charms.
Yeah, and like frosted mini
yeah.
wheats, and they put like steak last.
Yeah,
I'm like,
oh, dude,
this can't
and the
be
attack on meat, bro. Like the whole attack on red meat is totally. It's a total fucking lie.
oh,
It's a total lie.
that's the propaganda, but people believe it. People believe it.
Well,
that's what I was going to ask you guys. I'm like, 'cause I feel like the people, the Americans themselves, I feel like there is a shift that's happening. I mean, do you guys not agree? I mean, there talk about
no,
it.
I think it's what he said. I think it's there's an awakening happening.
Yeah, there's an awakening.
And I think every single day, and I know this to be true because when we first started talking about this, DJ, in the beginning of Real AF, we used to get a lot of pushback. And now, like, I don't really get much pushback. I mean, I'm gonna get some, regular troll shit.
Right.
But I'm not talking like actual fundamental disbelief and pushback. People are starting to align.
Right.
And what I see now is I get people in my DMs saying, man, you know what? I thought you were full of shit whenever I said this, when you said this 3 years ago, but dude, I actually agree with you now.
I see it.
And by the way, credit to those people. I appreciate that. But, I think more and more people every single day are totally recognizing that we are intentionally having our country, our livelihood, our traditions, our pride, everything that's made America great, diluted and destroyed intentionally for the benefit of people that ain't us.
Yeah.
Right. And when I say us, I mean all of you guys listening. Every single, even you guys just listen to hate. I'm talking about you too.
Listening to hate.
I got some of those.
Oh, do you?
But you know what? You guys are still us. Well, you're on the team, whether you realize it or not. It's us and them, man. And them, they don't care about us.
No.
And we're in a situation where we're losing all the great things. Bro, I bet you know this, and the listeners I think probably know. I was sick, very, very sick for the last week or so, and I watched Yellowstone, bro.
It's a good series.
So I started watching 1888, and then
that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
and then I watched the Yellowstone series, which I'd already seen, but I watched it again because this is how much time I was down.
Yeah.
So I watched the whole 1888 and then Yellowstone. And the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, fuck, dude, that was better. It's a better time. It's a better way to be. It's like even the way they held people accountable was better.
Yeah.
Like we have respect for each other. There was laws, there was order, there was respect.
Push your sheep up on my mountain and you're getting hung.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I told you not to do it.
Yeah. My wife has definitely been referred to at times as Beth Dutton.
Yeah, well,
so she's a little savage.
Yeah, well, that's probably real good for you though.
It is. Well, we've been together since we were 16, so we've, it's good.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's a good series, and it's interesting. But
it's a total reflection of like of what we're talking about. Like it's like the way they try to take.
They're bringing awareness to it, though.
Yes.
They're using the subject matter to bring awareness to it, which is
Taylor Sheridan, the guy who produced. Dude, that guy's a fucking genius.
He's a genius.
Yeah,
he's a genius.
He's a good actor too.
Yeah, he is good. It's like, and that honestly is what we're trying to do with this film we've been working on too. Is like, how do you first of all have to get the person to listen. There's got to be a wedge into their psyche so they'll actually pay attention and look at it objectively. And so you can't come too hard. We were talking about like Trump earlier. You can't come too hard one way. You're not looking to wedge people apart. You're looking to wedge each individual just so you can feed them some information like, hey, just hear me out for 1 second. And if you hear me out, you're going to see that we're more united than divided.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can bring historical information into the picture, and if you can weave it together to show the unity between the groups, then I think you can change the direction of the nation. I say to people, like, if you took America and you flipped it vertically and you took Europe and you put Europe on top of America, I bet you land mass wise or square feet, square meters, it's probably pretty similar. The problem is if you flip America that way, in Maine, it's going to be completely different than Florida because Scotland and Italy are very different.
Mm-hmm.
And the land mass of Europe overlaid onto America, you can see over the past 250 years how culturally America has divided, just like any other time and distance would divide land mass.
Mm-hmm.
And so You can go through Europe, Italy, France, whatever, up to England, Spain, up to Scotland. And it's different cultures and different customs and different languages. And in America, we're trying to keep this thing together and everybody looking at it the same. And we're actually not going to be able to do that. I actually think it's going to be impossible to get everybody to look at things the same. I think it's a losing battle.
Well, I think what we have to do, bro, I agree with that. I think there's a certain element, and I think it's small. I think it's 2% or less of the population that are so far gone, they're not coming back.
On both sides.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure.
On both sides.
See, I'm one of those people though in the middle.
Me too. I'm in the middle.
Yeah. Who's probably so far gone, I won't relate either. Because in my opinion, I think we need a completely new system.
Yeah.
And I think we need completely new leadership and completely new people, new ideas, youthful ideas. I believe our tax code is way too oppressive.
Bonkers.
Yeah, bro. It's insane. We're slaves to the government. They just make us think we're not.
Yep.
And everybody is. And when you take, we had a revolution in this country over a 3% tax. We have a situation now where if you and I actually tracked all of our tax, I'm not talking about our income tax. I'm not talking about state tax. I'm talking about when we go buy shit, we can pay tax. When to own shit, we pay tax. When we talk about adding up all those taxes, dude, every single American in the country is paying 60% plus taxes to the government in some way or another. That makes us all slaves to the government. That's not what this country was supposed to be on. And my personal opinion is that we need to get all of these old establishment fuckers out, and we need guys like you and me and other men and other women who understand what this country is supposed to be about fundamentally. We have to ignore the 2% on the left and the 2% psychopaths on the right, and we need to fucking build something that actually works for people.
Yeah.
And that's, I get labeled as a conservative all the time. I'm not really conservative, dude. I'm pro freedom. I'm pro America, and I'm pro not being oppressed by the government. And you know this because you run a big company. If you guys actually understood how heavily our company is taxed to even operate, it's a giant wake up call, because people don't understand. Like, I sell this product, and then if I want to replace it with a new product because I sold this product, I got to pay tax on this product. Okay. And then if I want to take money, I got to pay taxes too. And the fact that we have to pay tax to add inventory makes no fucking sense at all. Yeah. It's all about regulating business and shutting business growth down and hindering it so that you cannot become powerful enough to challenge the ideas that these people in government have. And that's my opinion, dude. I truly believe that we need a fucking revolution in this country. And I'm not saying a revolution of violence. Now, it may require some violence. I don't know. That's not what I'm saying. I think it could still be done peacefully and I like to say this saying a lot: personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion.
Yeah.
If everybody begins to raise standard and everybody begins to take care of their own life, we start to become more aware. We start to become more knowledgeable. We start to realize where we're hitting roadblocks in our system.
That's the awakening.
Yeah, it's happening, dude.
Yeah.
It's happening, bro.
And I think the as far as like the media to put out there and the way like you're doing it and others are doing it is gonna drive that awareness that we need. Now, I was talking with my son, I don't know, this was a couple years ago. He was like 13. I've never talked to him about politics. I've tried to teach him like main things: be resourceful, emotional intelligence. Doesn't matter who the person is, you're going to treat everybody the same way. Just basic fundamental values and truths. Yeah, just truths. And I remember him saying, "Dad, my generation doesn't watch news, and so we go and we seek out who we trust and believe." And he told me, and I've never like used the word liberal or conservative with him. He's like, "Well, my generation's going to be the most conservative." And I spun around. I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, we're going to be a very conservative generation." And I go, "How do you even know what that word means?" He's like, "Well, because I get my news on YouTube. They don't watch CNN, Fox News. They don't watch any of that bullshit. Mm-hmm. They literally go and find peers who they trust, and they call bullshit on the ones they don't." Mm-hmm. And so you have this generation. He was then like, 13, 14. Now he's 20, in 5 years, 25. And they're like right behind us. It's on them too. It's not just on us. It's going to be on them too to sort through the bullshit.
I've heard this about that generation, bro.
We've seen it, bro.
And
we've seen it.
In which ones?
And fucking, we went to so we have a big fair here in Missouri every year.
Oh yeah, the Washington Fair. Yeah.
And me and Andy went and we were out there and we're looking around, dude, and all of a sudden you just start seeing these, like, I'm talking about like just healthy boys.
Healthy boys, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sleeves cut off. They
Yeah.
might have a couple of mullets or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But
my son's got a mullet. Yeah.
But like you see young men. And like, dude, we looked like we were fucking shocked because we were definitely expecting something completely different.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. You know what I'm saying? But it was refreshing. It was refreshing to see.
And these kids are watching you. They're watching Jocko and Joe Rogan and Goggins, and they're listening, saying you should be strong. Here's the things you should be looking out for. Here's the things you should believe in. And I say America has been the most unhealthy it ever has in the history of the world. And it's the strongest it's ever been in the history of the world. There's like two divisions. You're either soft and weak or you're hard and strong.
That's absolutely true.
There's a divide. There's a great divide. And
there's no in between.
By the way,
there's no in between.
By the way, the soft and weak ones are the ones who keep calling for violence.
Yeah.
Which is ironic.
Yeah. It's not fun getting punched in the face, I'll tell you.
Yeah, well, you would know, you're black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You're pretty much the guy that everybody talks about.
Be careful with that.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's interesting to think about that the next generation is going to get their media from you. They're going to get their media from YouTube. And so we have to be careful of what we say.
Bro.
We have to be careful of what we say because what you impress upon them, they're right behind us. And they're actually going to be our peers. And if we want to make change, they're going to be our peers in that too.
Yeah, and they're going to facilitate it.
They're going to facilitate it. And then they're going to keep it going.
Do you think that the reason, so I've talked to a number of young people, when I get, because with cars, I'm big in the car world.
Yeah.
And so I get to talk to a lot of young kids because a lot of the kids love the cars. And I always try to ask them like these kinds of questions, like, what do they think? Like, what do you think of this? Like, I like to ask them, like, what do they think of like what's going on with the transgender shit and like all this stuff that's going on? And the feedback that I consistently get when I ask them these social issue questions, it is like it's always almost the same. They're like, bro, we see what they're doing. We don't want to fucking be like them.
Yeah.
Like that's the answer that they get. They're like, dude, you think we want to be like that? Talking about the generation, that's 22 to 30 right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's definitely
not to say that whole generation is bad. There's a lot of great. I mean, this whole building's filled with them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I think.
Like, what do you think? I guess what I'm asking is like, where do you think what do you think's driving that? Do you think it's just that they're getting the news from these people and that's who's influencing them?
Yeah, I think algorithms are driving it. Part of me, conspiracy maybe. China's driving it. China has 1,000-year game plan, and we don't even freaking know what we're doing tomorrow. And how we if you have 1,000-year game plan and you're gonna go through 10 generations to get to your goal of running the world, because that's their goal, I believe. Like every little step in that process, like if I worked backwards because I didn't want to be that guy that I'm scraping the steps for, China's looking 1,000 years out and working backwards and saying, what do we need to do right now? And I think that's a very real thing. I think owning the social media platforms, I think owning the means of production. So they own the means of production. So communist countries own the means of production, the manufacturing, and these free market countries own the consumer base. We're the consumers, and they're the means of production. It's quite an interesting dynamic.
Well, now they're also financially influencing all the power points of influence.
Yes.
So like when you look at the owners of the social media companies or you look at the politicians, and this is why it's such a big deal for people to understand what the money that Joe Biden has taken from China. People think that that's some sort of right-wing conspiracy bullshit. when they control the production and we're the consumer, and then they influence all of the key points of influence by paying money, it's very hard to do what we need to do here in America.
Yes.
And so these people, that country, and I'm not saying the people of that country, but that country's ideology very much so is the enemy of this country.
Yeah, it is. And it's it's an economic war.
Yeah.
You know, it is truly. You can't get a lot of machines in America these days. We try to get as many as we can, but, you know, especially like old machines we rescued back in the day. Like we found this old loom that had been abandoned, and it was from the 80s. It was an Italian loom. We had to buy a machine, and the only place you could get this machine was China. This is maybe 6 years ago. And they sent over a person, a tech, to set the machine up. And he has a process he follows. And he's followed this process 1,000 times. He goes through this step, to this step, to this step, to this step. He went through this process, and he hit a roadblock, and it wasn't working. And we found him in the corner of the bunker. Our factory is a fallout shelter against this, 80-year-old concrete wall in the corner with his head in his hands, like rocking and crying. And one of my employees went down, and he's like, Lee, what's wrong? He's like, I can't get it to work. I can't get it to work. I can't get it to work. And he had no critical thinking. Have you tried shutting it off and turning it back on? Zero critical thinking. He followed the plan. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Zero critical thinking. He is doing what he is told to do. And we shut the machine off, turned it back on, and it worked. He couldn't even think about thinking it through because he hasn't been taught critical thinking. He has been taught to follow the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a big problem.
It's a big problem. We've got to be critical thinkings, and we got to be critical thinkers because America was founded on critical thinking. And we got to be critical about the decisions we're making and where we're spending our dollar and casting our vote. And not to talk about COVID, because I am so sick of hearing about COVID,
Mm-hmm.
but the way that things went with COVID and forcing vaccines on people were just soft enough. And I don't know, I don't know if everybody in this room is vaccinated or not.
Nobody
I
is.
didn't get vaccinated.
Yeah, we didn't either.
I wouldn't
excuse me. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I looked at it objectively. I listened to the data. I thought about it. And the minute they told me I had to do it, I said no.
Dude, you know why? Because you and I have been long enough alive.
Critical thinking.
Yeah. Well, it's not just critical thinking, dude. You have to have perspective to critical think. Okay. So you and I are the same age. We actually graduated high school the exact same year.
Yep.
I found that people that are above the age of about 38 were way less likely to fall for this fucking bullshit. And the reason why I was able to see it, because people are like, oh fuck, how do you fucking know? And because I like to fuck with people and be like, oh dude, I fucking told you, but it was very easy for me to see because we've been through pandemics. You and I have lived through other pandemics. We understood how we operate during pandemics. You take the people who are likely to be sick, the most vulnerable people, and you make them stay home. And when they first came out with the idea of we're going to quarantine healthy people, that's when I knew for sure this is bullshit.
It's scary.
And when they said we're shutting the country down for 15 days, bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, we do not do that. And then the mask, bullshit. We do not do that either. And so the only reason I was able to see that is because I've been alive long enough to see how we did it before.
Yep.
And a lot of these younger people, they haven't been. Your son who's 20 years old doesn't probably remember H1N1 or some of these other things that have happened, right?
Ebola, yeah.
Yeah. Like, and so we have to recognize that, and by the way, to your point of the critical thinking, that is also an intentional narrative and an intentional program that they've been running in our education system.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want them to question anything. When we were going through school, bro, they taught us question everything.
Yes.
Ask questions, be the voice of contradiction, play devil's advocate, work through the options. That's not what they teach. They don't teach. Now they teach what to think. They taught us how to think.
Yeah.
And that's a fundamental difference between the generations that, and the problem is it's very hard to communicate to people that aren't willing to hear it because they
know what the fuck to think.
No, bro. You can't teach somebody something that thinks they know everything.
Right.
How can you teach someone that they're not thinking when they have been told, because they've been told so directly that this is the way it is? You can't break a barrier. That's why humility is so important to success. People think humility is living a meek life. Those are two different things. The reason humility is so important is because when you're not humble, you're unable to learn. And when you can't learn, you can't get better. And that's what we're dealing with there's a specific age bracket of this country that has a hard time really understanding that they were fucking lied to in their whole entire time in school, and I don't know what to do about that.
I think a lot of the education, the way my wife and I approached it with ours was like, it's going to have to happen in the home, and you have to let them know you're going to see a lot of different things and hear a lot of different things. And you should challenge those things.
Mm-hmm.
You should absolutely challenge. Like when they told me when I was a kid, like, hey, you can be anything. You live in America. You can be anything. You can do anything, and you can challenge the norm. I was naive enough to believe them.
Me too.
I was like, yeah, I can be anything.
Yeah.
Like I bought into that idea. Yeah. I bought into the idea that the American dream was available, and you could change your station in life and create upward trajectory for yourself by making good decisions and being a hard worker. Like I actually believed that. And that's what I taught my kids. I taught them like, I call, hey, we're going to have a summer 97 when, I have them put their phones down for a week or whatever. Like, hey, it's summer 97. Some
good times, dude.
Yeah, bro, come on.
I switched my Pandora station over to Smashing Pumpkins radio.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, it's all the shit in our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I've been listening to a lot of Nirvana lately.
Yeah. It's like Smashing Pumpkins, Live, fucking Sublime.
Yeah. Green Day was
Green Day? All of it, dude. It's just I'm listening to it. I'm like, man, I'm way less angry. This is amazing.
It's like, I want you kids to go build a fort. I want you to leave the sterno going and burn a forest down.
Yeah.
Not literally, but like go out there and
but if you do,
something.
it's okay.
Yeah. But if you do it, it's kind of okay. Like go experience life, and get bumps and bruises and like feel like go out and see what it's like to live instead of like sticking your freaking head in this damn phone. And I'm the worst at it because, I run a fairly large company from this device.
Bro. Same.
It's like,
and I've spent a decade on that motherfucking phone.
Dude.
And has it produced some really amazing stuff? It sure has. Has it brought me some really amazing friends? Absolutely. You and I wouldn't know each other if it wasn't for that.
No.
But here's the thing. There's a cost to it. And you have to be aware of the cost. And you have to be aware of what it's taking as much as what it's giving. And I think most of America is starting to realize that this is a mind prison of propaganda, and that for us to actually live a life, this has to at least be very limited in our real life.
It's like the flyers coming out of the backs of the planes and littering the streets of World War II. Every country had their propaganda. Germany had theirs. We're winning the war. Italy had theirs. America had theirs. And this is littered with propaganda.
Dude, that's all it is.
Yeah, you're not seeing what you want to see. You're seeing what they want you to see.
They're seeing what they want you to see.
When social media started up, like when it started to like become a thing for business, 2010, 11, 12, those times, that's when I really got into social. It was fun. It was a fun thing. Like you got to see, like I got to see Pete's life. Pete got to see my life. People would bitch because like, oh man, I'm sick of seeing people's kids. Like, like that's the shit that people were that's how it was. And it was cool. Mm-hmm. Now it's become this complete different thing, especially with COVID. And I think the good thing about COVID is that it accelerated the awakening that's happened.
Yeah.
But dude, it's become this thing now where it's either people clout chasing and hating on people, and they're taking away people. Like they want to bring others down to bring them up, which never works. Or it's serious, just propaganda from the government or from the main media sources. Dude, these guys are getting smart. These propaganda machines, they're making fucking memes now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they understand how to connect. Like a lot of the memes you guys see that with the data on it, that shit is total bullshit. And you guys post it without even thinking like, and this goes especially on the right. Like there's a lot of people on the right that do this. They will, because it's easy to do, because it's what you want to believe, right?
The over-sexualization. Like people think the kids, but like even the attack just on the adults.
I think that whole thing has accelerated the awakening.
I thought that's what you were going to say earlier. Like you're like, you know, first social media was cool, and I was like, yeah, but then came the booty holes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because like, bro, it changed it.
You're witnessing the social degradation of society, bro. Yeah. Like it's just you could see the morality collapsing, and like, dude, it could suck you in.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like that's the problem with it, and I think. But dude, I do feel I think people look at like that kind of stuff differently than they did even 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like, the over-sexualization of women it's not resonating like it did 2 years ago. Like men are waking up and they're saying, oh fuck, that's not a good thing. Like I shouldn't support that. And because they're realizing the implications for the men behind them. And so, like where when I grew up, like, bro, I wasn't like a perfect little angel, bro. I like girls and I like fucking titties and, I like going to the strip clubs and all that shit.
Yeah.
And like, so, it started to become that way and you kind of start running wild with it. You're like, oh, this is fucking cool. Like, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is not good. And I think that moment has come for a lot of people in this country where we're like, oh shit, we've contributed to this in these ways. And I see people changing themselves to no longer be that person, which I think is what needs to happen.
Yeah, it's a very strained moral fiber.
Yeah.
It's stretched. It's fully stretched.
Oh man. Can't get any worse, dude. It's with the kids now.
Yeah.
Now you see. Dude, I saw a picture on Jimmy Levy's page yesterday with that fucking dude holding a microphone like it was his dick in the kid's mouth.
Yep.
Like, bro, like I'm to the point with that pedo shit where like I feel like if we don't fucking do something about it, dude, we're complicit in it.
Yeah.
Like I think it's time to fire up motherfucking wood chippers, dude. Yeah. And I ain't playing. Like I'm being serious.
Send them in.
Yeah. Like, dude, you'll
never figure out who it was.
This shit cannot be normalized. We have government agency in fucking Spain sitting there. We covered this on our CTI episode. I don't know if you saw this clip, but there was a woman a government official in Spain who was arguing that children have the right to choose if they want to have sex with a grown man or woman. That's being said in an actual official government setting in Spain. And that's where we are. Dude, listen. And people could take this however the fuck we want. But the reality is that shit's got to end. Yeah. And it don't matter which way, like you'll hear me say peaceful about every other situation. But when it comes to this kid shit and these guys normalizing this shit, we as men have to fucking stop it. Yeah, it has to stop.
Enough is enough.
Yeah.
It's like you can only stretch so far before the thing busts.
Yeah.
And the elastic band has to snap back. And we got to be part of making that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I look at it.
Otherwise, bro, like I don't know your religious beliefs, but I believe in God.
I'm a Christian.
Okay,
so,
me too.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm to the point now where I feel like if I don't fucking do something about it, I'm going to have to answer for it myself.
100%.
And the question is going to be, Andy, why didn't you fucking do anything? And I'm not, dude, it gives me chills to think about.
It's a whole nother subject, but the perversion of spirituality and I've had some bad experiences, like, I think America has lost themselves spiritually too. And I think that's a big part of the problem.
Do you see it coming back though?
I do.
I do too.
What's interesting is I actually have some Catholic friends, which is interesting. And I didn't grow up Catholic. I bounced around from church to church. My mom dragged me around to all sorts of churches. I got us kicked out of church.
Bro, that's very similar. That's what we did too.
Yeah.
We're a pretty much Catholic family on my dad's side, but my mom and dad divorced. And So we went to Lutheran, we went to these different churches. So
Free,
I got to
evangelical, Baptist,
I got to
Methodist, all
experience a
that.
bunch of different ones.
saw it
I didn't
all.
know any different.
Yeah.
And that's probably where my beliefs today come from. Like I don't necessarily identify in anything other than a Christian.
Yeah.
And I believe in God.
I believe in God.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and that's, I have my fundamental beliefs and principles, but I saw the worst of the man as the head of the church.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, as a young kid, I always felt like I could read people and see what was behind people's, and I didn't know back then it was nonverbal communication. I didn't understand body language back then. I think I just kind of had that growing up, maybe because of my personality profile,
Yeah,
but
you have a gift for it.
yeah. And so like when I was 13, I basically straight up called bullshit on the pastor. And, and like I was like, this guy's full of shit. He got us kicked out of the church. Yeah. And my mom was good about it. She's like, you're right, Pete. Like you're right. It's in everything I've taught you. And, like he's countering that, and it's not okay. And so I struggle with, I struggle a bit with organized church. And I got some issues with it. And I think the most important thing is, for me is a personal relationship. So
absolutely.
I think you're going to see more young people see that there is like being immoral. There's like, as a human, you're designed, and there's right and wrong, and there's good and evil. And if you believe that there's right and wrong and there's good and evil, then you have to believe that, there's most likely a higher power.
Mm-hmm.
And if you work backwards, you're going to find something, I ultimately believe. And I think more young people are seeing that and going, wow, yeah, I actually, it's actually fringe to be a believer versus being a non-believer, which is very, very dangerous and very weird. But I've got some friends that are.
It is weird.
Yeah.
It's never been that
weird.
way.
No.
It's never been that way. Like my whole life, I mean, and I feel like we have a lot in common in regards to our life experiences. But my whole life, bro, like it was the other way. All the people that I knew, they all believed in God. Now they might have been degenerates, they might have been alcoholics, they might have been sinners, but they still feared and respected a higher power and understood it, that there was something that they needed to answer to, which gave them a sense of structure for their lives. And we're in a situation now where they've diluted that so much that, I don't think it's a coincidence that most of a certain age group is on antidepressant medications. I don't think it's a coincidence that when you poll these people, 70% of people say they're unhappy. Well, you can't be happy without a purpose. You can't be happy without belief. You can't be happy without a mission. You can't be happy without discipline. It's a requirement for happiness. And so they've removed all these things from our culture as things that we should strive to have. And to me, it's very obvious why people are so distressed and why they're struggling so hard. And I just think that, it's up to people, you guys listening, us, we have a very strong listenership here that it's up to all of us to set a higher standard for what's acceptable. And, I know that I've made a lot of changes in my own life over the last few years because of what I've recognized how dangerous, like I would say, like, dude, if you talked to me 3 years ago or 4 years ago, bro, I was way more wild. I was way more like liberal in my social beliefs. Like I've corrected that because I've recognized what it's caused in society. And I've worked very hard to become a stronger, better, more morally sound human being, if that makes sense. Because I realized that the example is important. Like you said earlier, we have to be careful what we say and represent. And things that I used to think were cool, I no longer think are cool at all. You know what I mean? And actually, there's some of the things that I look at my own character and feel the most shame and guilt about. You know what I mean? I look back at myself 5-10 years ago and think about some of the things that I was, thought were cool. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I probably fucked some people up with that.
Yeah.
And but you know what can we do? We can change your behavior. That's it.
Change your behavior. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a big part of like, if if this nation turns to moralism and there isn't good and evil and it's just moralism, then anything goes. Anything goes.
Yeah. And we ain't
Because
having that.
anybody's idea is a good idea, regardless of what it is. And that's what's dangerous. So yeah, I think more young people are gonna look and figure that out, depending on who they're listening to, but they're gonna sort through the bullshit.
Well, dude, who's the voices on the other side? I mean, you mentioned 4 or 5 voices on this side of the line, right?
Yeah.
Like Rogan's a very strong voice. He's a voice of reason, I believe.
Yeah.
Goggins is a very strong voice for discipline and development. Jocko as well.
I think the celebrities are a voice. There's a lot of celebrities that are a voice on the other side.
Yeah.
I think
I think they're losing power, dude.
I do
losing
too.
Respect.
I do too. I think ultimately who is driving the media and then who's driving the algorithm is the voice on the other side.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's not a.
Have you been following those Twitter files?
No.
So have you heard about how Twitter was manipulating the traffic? So
yeah,
basically,
I did hear about that.
Yeah, so
for the election or for,
just in general. So
okay,
basically, what their policy was, in a nutshell, we've covered a bunch of the Twitter files on the show. Basically, what their policy has been, and one of the theories I've had for the last few years was that the resistance to like common sense belief was actually made up. Because I saw this poll in 2020 when they were just talking about the vaccine
mandates
being mandated. And there was a poll on Yahoo and this is when everybody was like, if you watch the news, if you watch the internet, if you watch Hollywood, everybody's like, vaccine.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, this doesn't seem right. I felt like I was all alone, which, by the way, was the goal, to make us feel like we were all alone.
Yeah.
And Yahoo put up a poll, and the poll was, would you go to a restaurant that required you to be vaccinated to enter? And it was I can remember it was 81% said no. Okay. 19% said yes. And that's when it fucking clicked for me. And I even came on the show. We go back and fucking find the show.
Yeah.
I don't remember what episode it was, but it clicked for me. I'm like, holy shit, bro. These motherfuckers are manipulating the fucking whole thing with tech.
Yeah.
And so what Twitter was, and I said, I went on to say this for years and got called conspiracy theorist, crazy, all this shit, which is why I say I told you so much on the fucking, it is what it is, because I did. And what they were actually doing and what they have been doing and what all social platforms have been doing is they actually had their employees, okay, at Twitter with their progressive views going in and running bot accounts to make the far left progressive narrative seem far more popular. And then they were censoring all the people who were against it.
Propaganda.
Yes, bro.
That same poll on Twitter was completely
inverse. So they've created this illusion that the resistance to what we all love about this country is massive, when in reality, dude, it's made up.
Yeah.
It's 2% of the population, bro. I have a cousin of mine who is ultra progressive. Okay. She even thinks it's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like when we first started talking again, bro, she texts me or hit me up in DMs, and I even fucking straight up said, I said, look, I'm not in the mood to argue with you. Like, I don't even know why you're hitting me up. Like, we're going to argue. It's not. And she's like, actually, I actually want to have a real conversation. Like, it's like, she was very cool about it. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, reality is starting to set in for people, because if someone who's that far progressive is starting to actually question, I saw the hope, right?
Yeah.
And now we're in this situation where people are seeing the fucking tech manipulation. So a lot of people are like, holy shit, bro, they made this shit up. And so these people, like, now they have to go all in because they've gone so far in.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? There's no way to pull out.
Yeah.
So like, it's going to be interesting what happens, but I think people are realizing that the common sense, and I'm talking about the 80%, man. I'm talking about the common sense people, the good people of this country, which 80% I believe are. They're realizing that we've been played.
Yeah.
We've been manipulated, and we've been told a lot of lies, and we've been told to believe things that aren't necessarily true. And we've been bullied into going along with ideas that maybe we necessarily didn't agree with, or we just thought were the way of the times. No, it's not the way of the times. They're fucking manipulating everything that we see, everything that we hear, everything that we get to consume to make us believe that we're the only ones that believe in the regular, normal, everyday American stuff.
Yeah,
I wonder if
it's the only value that they left intact with American culture is the value of being tolerant. It's the only value they allowed to maintain.
Well, that's because they weaponized it.
because they need it.
They've weaponized tolerance. They've made tolerance the highest moral standard that you can have, which is why people feel comfortable posting pictures like that one that Jimmy Levy and David Harris Jr. posted of this fucking thing with a microphone as a penis into a kid's mouth.
Have you seen it?
No.
I'll pull it up real quick.
It's
No, I
real
haven't
bad.
seen
That photo, if people will watch, if people would just look at that photo and just reflect for a few minutes, it would change. Everybody would fucking change their mind about all of that shit. It's bad.
I haven't seen it.
It's bad.
Can't even find this page.
Like, it's so bad I didn't even want to post it on my story. Like, I was so pissed off, I just didn't even want to post it because it's so disgusting.
Yeah. It's crazy when I think a lot of the divide used to be like, oh, you fiscally conservative or fiscally liberal, or you socially conservative or socially liberal. Oh my Lord.
Yeah. Bro.
What the frig?
Yeah, bro. That's it for me, dude. That's it for me. Fire the fucking wood chippers up.
Yep.
I ain't playing.
Yeah.
That every fucking motherfucker should be with that. That is not an ideology that we can allow here or anywhere.
And apparently it's coming out there that's apparently his surrogate son.
I don't give a fuck.
No, not at all. I mean, because dude, there was two other. Yeah.
Those two guys in fucking
That's what I'm
Atlanta
saying,
that just
like-
adopted those two gay dudes in Atlanta adopted those two boys and then were pimping them out for sex to other gay men. Dude, this shit is over, dude. It's fucking over. I'm to the point where like pitchfork shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm ready.
Old school.
Yeah, dude, I'm ready. Like I'm fucking Vlad the Impaler their motherfucking asses. Like, dude, unfortunately, people need to fucking learn a lesson. You know, there's a reason why Vlad the Impaler put the heads of his enemies on stakes and nobody fucked with him for 1,000 fucking years. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why. There's a reason why they call him Dracula.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why. And it's not because he was fucking nice to his enemies. You know, by the way, interesting story about Christianity tied into there if you want to go research it.
Yeah.
Really cool story.
Pete, I want to ask, what do you think is the, because I mean, just getting back to the whole story of origin, which I think is beautiful and phenomenal. What do you think should be the obligation of the American consumer from this point moving forward?
I don't think they should be obligated as a consumer of product. I think everyone needs to be obligated as a consumer of information. And if anything, they can learn that there is a different way and there can be a different model, you know, and just like there are seasons to life in business, you know, there are seasons to the direction our country goes. And at the same time, things are cyclical, you know, kind of what goes around comes around. But if they can arm themselves with information and learn from where we've been, that we actually can change the trajectory of the country, you know, and we're hitting on some kind of hot topics today. Ultimately for us, the product is a manifestation of that for someone who's kind of like believes that there needs to be change. When they decide where they put their dollar, they understand where it actually ends up. If you put your dollar, like I say to folks, like, okay, you bought a pair of jeans, but if you did follow the truck back to the source, you're going to end up in a field talking to a farmer who has a family, you know, who's raising these crops, who's living into his American dream. And on other instances, you spend $1 and I'm not wearing everything I'm wearing. I think my underwear aren't made in America, you know, and my socks aren't, you know, I'm wearing, I think, Puma socks or something. Um, but if you spend $1 and you don't know where it's going, you don't actually know what you're supporting. And so because of that, you're choosing the moral high ground. I wrote something for the film because in the film there's a lot of writing, and it might end up being a limited series, but it has to do with the idea that like slavery still exists today. Slavery, actual real slavery. One of my business partners and advisors is a guy named Kip Fulks, and he was the co-founder of Under Armour, and he was the operator behind that business. Dude built a $5 billion a year company, massive company. And he says, Pete, I was one of the guys shutting the factories down and bringing the shit overseas. And part of the reason he's involved with Origin is because I think, it would be fair to say, and I don't think Kip would mind me saying this, trying to right some of those decisions, right some of those wrongs.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He told me a story once about like going into, I don't know if it was Cambodia or something. And they took him down this long path and into this jungle. And there was a building with bars in the windows and young girls inside. And he was just absolutely appalled and disgusted. And he ended up leaving. And there's a bit more to that story, but fundamentally, because we are taking the moral high ground, we don't know where our money is going. You don't see that you simply moved slavery offshore.
Mm.
Yeah, abolished in America. And because of our consumerism, thriving in other parts of the world.
Let's not even get into the slavery that goes into making all these electric cars these people are buying up.
Yeah, that came out recently too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I did see that. So
Cobalt mines and
if you believe in human rights and human value, which I do in total, then you should arm yourself and consume content to educate yourself so that you can learn and open yourself up to learning. I consider myself a lifetime learner. I love meeting people. I don't care who they are. A lot of the old timers that helped us get this factory started were mechanics and machinists and they have a completely different worldview, but like I like to learn from everybody I come in contact with. And humility, you got to have humility to do that. And it's not something you can inject into humanity. You can't inject humility into humanity. But if you could find a way, if you have a voice to wedge in to get people to listen, and maybe something sparks their interest. I have a person working on the film, and I'm not going to mention her name, but she's from Hollywood. And how do I position this? She's from Hollywood, and she's very liberal. And the moment that she found out that like she had to like vaccinate her young son of like 5 years old, she started to pay attention to what the other side was saying, because she just felt this innate kind of reaction, this like she shuddered when she heard that. And she's like, why am I being told what to do? And she was like extreme left.
Mm-hmm.
She was like the 2% on the left.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't very center. And she told me, she goes, so I started paying attention and started listening to everything so that I could make more informed and educated decisions. And she's like, and the other side isn't crazy. Both sides are a little bit crazy, but the truth lies in the middle. But we should have the freedom to make decisions, and I shouldn't be told what to do. Whereas before, she would say, well, the government makes the decisions for us because they're the smartest and they got the smartest people involved, and I trust them. So I think if we can arm people with knowledge to make better decisions, at least understand the whole picture instead of half of the picture, we can affect change in a major way. And Origin exists to be the tip of the spear on that change.
You guys are.
Yeah.
You guys are. It's fucking awesome. It's something, I mean, dude, I've expressed this to you a bunch of times. It's just something bro, what you guys are doing and what companies like Origin and, our company and other companies like that is the solution. We have to create this environment And it is entrepreneurs that will fix this.
Yes.
Something that gets lost in the shuffle is that, entrepreneurs forget that we set the culture for America because we set the culture where everybody works.
And the policy.
That's right.
And the policy.
That's right. Most people work in small business. They do not work in global corp business. They work in small business. And the small business owner who listens to shows like this, they will consistently, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Well, you know what you can do, bro? You can be very much so a steward of American values, care about the people that you employ, be a responsible capitalist, take into consideration where these dollars are ending up, how you're growing your company. Don't look at it as a zero-sum game of just making money, because that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that we, as entrepreneurs, have the ability to really make the change. Because because when I see a lot of this, dude, a lot of these small business people go along with like the big business cultural standard that they put down, right? Like a lot of these companies that are big and they're affiliated with groups like the World Economic Forum, right? The Coca-Colas and the big companies that put through these agendas, these social agendas down through their company. What people are failing to realize is that's intentional, because they realize that if they put the social agenda down through the company, that the social agenda gets taken home.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where the small entrepreneur can actually make the change by changing the culture internally. And so what they have to realize is that they can no longer just mirror what the big guys are doing, and you have to do what you know to be right. And that's really what it comes down to. And if every small entrepreneur, small medium entrepreneur that's not on the affiliated with the World Economic Forum and these other crazy groups, if they just say, you know what, I'm done with that. I'm about that flag. I'm about the values of that flag. I'm about the values of the people of this country. If they did that and everybody did it at once, all this shit would be over today.
Yeah.
It'd be over today. Because as entrepreneurs do, we control the culture.
I think there's two options, and I always looked at it for myself, two options. I can get into politics, or I can build a company that can drive policy.
Yes.
And I truly thought about doing both, and I still think about the politics, but I think I can be better building a business as an entrepreneur that can drive policy and make true change.
I've had a number of conversations with Jocko about this, because I see what he's done, right? And like how he's contributed to this country, as a soldier, as a leader of men. And I have a great deal of respect and admiration for him. I look up to Jocko, for guidance. And when all this shit was happening and I first started realizing what was going on, I almost became panicked. I'm like, fuck, I'm not doing enough. And he said the same thing to me that you just said. He said, look, dude, he said, you're already fucking doing it.
Yeah.
And
that's funny.
Yeah. I didn't get it. Like when he said that, I'm like, no, I'm not. What are you talking about? And he explained to me what you just said. And so then I'm like, and it still doesn't feel like enough, right? But it is far more effective than me going and running for office.
Yeah, 100%. And it's a supply chain of knowledge too. So if you look at a supply chain of manufacturing or running a business, you're affecting all the hands, the truck drivers, the farmers, the people spinning, knitting, dyeing, and everything in between. I had a friend who did a study, and he had figured he affected 25,000 people in one product he was making. Well, your supply chain of knowledge is you're giving people information, you're giving a product, and you're providing an experience, but most importantly, you're helping them grow in their personal life, and they're going out and they're having conversations with people. And that's the supply chain. It's a supply chain of knowledge and information. And the more we can get it out this way versus through mass media controlled by right now the world's elites, I'm planning on replacing a couple of them.
Yeah.
I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm serious when I say that.
Yeah,
it's
me too.
Driving a business that can drive true policy through lobbying, through, whoever, we decide to partner with, and whatever policies we decide to partner on. For me, it would be it would be fair trade.
Mhm.
You know, it'd be making sure that trade, again, I believe in free trade, but that the trade is fair and that we don't sacrifice Americans, American people, American hands, American communities. We don't sacrifice those things. And we hold those to a higher standard because we start with people. So yeah, 100%, you're doing it.
What do you think? Well, so are you, bro. I mean, but that's the responsibility. Like a lot of the people listening, like this is an entrepreneur show.
Yeah.
It's not, it was the MFCEO project for years and years before it became this show. And the base is still entrepreneurs. And that's the biggest thing that I think they need to realize as well. Like you guys listening, you need to realize that you are the facilitators of this change through the policy and the culture that you have inside of your companies that your employees will take home. And it's okay to have people in your, like, not everybody in this building agrees with everything I say politically or socially. It's okay to have discourse. It's okay to have conversation. Those things are healthy and they're needed. But the problem becomes when you are demanded to fall in line with one side or the other side. And that's where we have to be careful not to overcorrect, to, be the opposite of what has been for the last 10 or 12, 15 years. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man, there's a lot to fix.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, I think that what you're doing is a great start, dude. Have you found, so a lot of people say, like, when I talk to them about, because what we're doing too, like we're working on, like, this, like we're working on building our own cut and sew and doing all these things too, which I'm going to need your help with. So you know.
Do you have the knowledge here to do that, or?
Well, we're doing cut and sew, but we don't have our own plants.
Yeah.
So
okay.
we're all of our garments and our t-shirts, everything. These are all our own designs. The vast majority are now made in America.
Yeah.
And we're moving towards fully made in America, and with the goal of creating them in our own plants. Yeah. So do I have the knowledge to do it? No, but I do know someone that knows how to do it. I'm looking at him.
Yeah. Oh, I know how to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm sure we'll probably do some business down the road in that regard as well. But one of the pushbacks that I get on this is that, well, people, like, just like the politician you mentioned earlier, people don't want to work like that anymore. Dude, I don't find that to be the case.
It's not the case.
Yeah.
It's like, culture is number one. You don't have a culture, you don't have anything. And that obviously, like, a culture is so important. And then the second thing is like, it's not, number one usually isn't monetary. If you were on a poll, why do you do the job you do? They're not going to say because I make the amount of money I want or because I get paid what I want. They're going to say something different. It's convenient because I get to put my kids on the bus. It's close to home. I love the people I work with. I love the mission behind it. There's all sorts of other reasons. So when you look at it, there are plenty of people willing to do these jobs if you give them the why. And to your point, like, people don't want to cut and sew anymore. People want to have meaningful work.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking with Sal in here. He's like, I just love coming to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I'm working because the work's meaningful, because you walk out at the end of the day saying, I did something, I made an impact, I had an impact, whether it's on a person, on a product, whatever it is, whatever part of the company you're working within. But we have people that get great fulfillment out of building stuff, sewing stuff, weaving, making, the whole thing. And that's never going to go away. It's never going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not everybody's designed to be a doctor and a lawyer and to go to college.
Exactly.
It's just not the case. So we should embrace it instead of fighting it.
Yeah. Or shunning it.
Yeah.
I see a lot of, like, the way we've gotten to this point is that those jobs, those I don't know what you want to call them, I guess more simple jobs, okay, have been shit on. It's not respected, bro. There was a time for most of our lives, like, you look at people who work with their hands and you look at people who worked hard, farmers, construction workers, the people who actually provide and build the things in this country. You looked at them with massive respect.
There's nobility in it.
Yes. And it was I was taught to respect those people. And I was made to do that work when I was young. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for people like that. And that's a big cultural issue right now, is that you have an entire generation of people that think, Like you have Hillary Clinton calling those people the deplorables.
Yeah, I did see that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro,
Deplorables.
these are the people that fucking feed you.
Yeah.
These are the people that shelter you. These are the people that give you all the conveniences that you then turn around and use to criticize them with.
Yeah.
Like, we have to get back to an America that respects working class citizens, because working class citizens, and I'm talking about blue collar citizens, are the citizens that provide everything great that we all enjoy. Everything.
The shrinking middle class is actually going to be our downfall. And then we'd be no better than newly industrialized Manchester, England, where you have the peasants at the bottom and the elites at the top, because you have no middle class.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, middle class is
and they're trying to convince the middle class that they have pushed into poverty over the last 3 years.
Yes.
They're trying to convince them that people like me and you are their enemy.
Yeah, I know.
You and me are the elite that the elite tries to present as the elite.
Yeah.
Right. When in reality, bro, me and you are boogers on the nose of those people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Complete.
Like we are with the peasants.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that has to be something that's understood as well.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of propaganda there. Dude, what all products are you guys making now?
So we
because you started with jeans, right?
Well, we started with jiu-jitsu gis.
Okay.
And we basically spent, 8 years making the best, gis in the world, because the only jiu-jitsu gis you can purchase actually are from Pakistan and China. And I don't think people really realize that. Like if you're wearing a jiu-jitsu gi that's not origin, basically it's made in, it's made by communism. Our shit's made by freedom, built by freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So we became the best at making jiu-jitsu gis. And then we decided, like, okay, this is much bigger than us, and it's much bigger jiu-jitsu, and the market for jiu-jitsu is a small market. And we had a mission to have a larger impact and do something special and build America's next big brand, clothing, apparel, sportswear brand, but on 100% American supply chain, because it's actually never been done.
Mm-hmm.
And so what are the two hardest things that we could make? Like the two hardest things and most meaningful to America. And it's like denim and boots built America. And so we need to make denim and boots. Footwear, because our community, that's what died off when Bass Shoes shut down and all the shit got moved overseas. All those people out of work, they knew how to make footwear and denim, because, man, who doesn't love denim blue jeans? It's the cornerstone to humanity. Yeah. So we knew also that if we could figure out how to make those two things, we could make anything, literally anything. The stitch types, the fabric, the way you got to handle the fabric, and the machines you got to run them through. So we make denim 100% made in America, without compromise, and we make footwear, but we also make a lot of other things. We t-shirts and badass like fleece hoodies, and then of course we have a whole hunt line too, which we launched.
That's cool.
You guys are working with Cam Haynes on that, right?
Cam.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, so
that shit looks good too.
It looks good, yeah.
Bro,
so,
I'm over here looking like Alex is about to be pissed. I'm about to go shopping right now.
Yeah, and the other idea is like, there's another idea, is that it's not just keeping it local for the community. It's keeping it local because you're cutting down on fossil fuels and emissions, and you're building durable product that someone's going to have for 10 or 20 years, that it counteracts kind of this global issue on waste. Like, I think we all are looking at how wasteful we are as a society.
Mm-hmm.
We're very wasteful. So when you can tighten it down and you can kind of compact your supply chain, then you create visibility into that supply chain. It does speak to the baby boomer, the Gen Xer, and it speaks to the next generation. And that's the market dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Is we're kind of filling the void for all of those folks, all those age groups, when it comes to, building an apparel brand. But the Hunt line has been phenomenal. Is, Kip's vision, really, I just follow him on that. But the textiles we developed,
that's kind of cool how he's guiding that, because he's doing it the opposite way they did at Under Armour.
Yes.
At Under Armour, they did sportswear, then outdoor.
Yeah.
Now you guys do an outdoor, and I'm sure the other thing will come later.
Yeah. We've talked about it for sure.
Yeah.
We're not there yet. We're core to
let's have that conversation.
Yeah.
That's my wheelhouse.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Kip's a savage, man. That dude, I don't know if you've ever met. He would be a good one for this podcast.
Oh, bro, I'd love to have him.
I'd
love to meet him.
He's a savage. People don't realize, like,
I remember when they came on the scene, dude.
Under Armour?
Yeah, because like a lot of people, like, you know, the younger crowd now, they just think of like Under Armour as like another Nike or an Adidas. But like, dude, that's not how it was. They were a major disruptor, like out of the blue.
Oh yeah.
And they came out with these amazing shorts that felt different and these amazing
the tight fitting football shorts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was, and because I was still playing football when they started hitting the scene.
Yeah, I was too.
And I got their stuff. I'm like, dude, this is the coolest shit ever.
Yeah.
And after that, bro, I became an Under Armour consumer. I started buying their shirts. I started, you know, and they did things differently. And I remember when I first saw their uniforms on the Terps.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like on the Maryland Terps.
Yep.
And because I was playing lacrosse too.
Oh, you played lacrosse?
Yeah.
That was my main sport.
Really? What'd you play?
I played attack.
Oh, you did? I played long stick.
Nice.
Yeah.
My son plays at Bentley.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
He plays lacrosse at Bentley.
Yeah.
My daughter's trying to play in college too.
Yeah,
but
I played lacrosse in high school, and then out here, now it's pretty big out here. But when I played, it wasn't very big. It was abnormal to play.
Yeah.
And we used to go to East Coast once a year.
Yep.
To play the East Coast schools, and
we had fun with that,
bro. Fuck, bro.
We were East Coast.
Oh yeah, bro. We played this school. In Baltimore. We went on this Baltimore trip. Yeah, we played a school called Calvert Hall, and they beat us like 27-3.
Yeah,
and like it got
how many points are one score? I don't
just one. No, bro. And I play long stick. Okay, so like these dudes, they scored 27 goals. I'm fucking running my balls off the whole fucking game. All right. I got to the point where I was like, fuck this, I'm getting ejected. And I just took my fucking long stick and smacked this dude on the head just so I could kick the fuck out of the game. So I was tired of running. Yeah, because they were so good, dude. And I mean, they were nice enough guys. Yep. Like after the game, you know, they had a barbecue, like, you know, they were nice to us, but man, they were fucking oh fuck, dude. It was brutal.
Kip played pro lacrosse.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he was a lacrosse player at Maryland.
Oh, cool.
And Kevin, his partner, Kevin Plank, he was a football player. And so they started it out of Kevin's grandmother's basement. And so Kip was wearing the first shirt. And then he went on to play pro lacrosse too. And he kind of repped the brand. But like that dude literally was the one stack cutting the shirts and heat sealing the shirts. And
that's so cool.
Like his story, and hopefully you can have him on, but he could tell it. I would
love to have him on.
He literally bought an old factory and like drove out with a U-Haul, loaded up. They got a house in Baltimore. They put all the machines in this house and they started sewing stuff. So it's a very like linear story, you know, to origin. The only difference is their goal and their dream wasn't to build an American company. Their dream was to build a brand that went head to head with Nike.
Yeah.
That was their goal.
Yeah, they did that.
And you know, and they had 20 factories in America before he decided to shut them all down and outsource it, you know? And I think he definitely holds some personal feelings about how that went.
Bro. I mean, that's, you know, look, dude, how many mistakes you made?
All of them.
Me too.
Yeah.
So like that's part of, you know, that's what I was talking about a little
Call them
bit.
tuition payments though.
Yeah.
No mistakes.
Yeah.
Because you can't learn this shit in college.
That's exactly right.
It's a tuition payment.
Dude, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I say all the time, man, there's two things you need to be successful. There's only two. One is you have to possess the ability to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
You can make a mistake twice, but you shouldn't make it 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you have enough ability to recognize your mistake, learn the lesson without making it more than twice, and you have the ability to not quit, you can fucking do anything. Those are the only two things you really need. And I know this because I don't have anything else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But dude, how the fuck did your big ass play attack?
I would. So I
holy
was
shit, bro.
Yeah. I was an athlete.
Yeah.
And I was quick, and
yeah.
Back then you could jump the crease, and that was one of my major moves.
Yeah.
I was a basketball player, so I applied my basketball skills to lacrosse.
Yeah. How tall are you? You're pretty tall.
I used to be 6'3", but I think I've shrunk since then.
Yeah.
I'm at 6'3", 6'4". Yeah, bro. Yeah. Two bulging discs and degenerative disc disease, and you know, meniscus is gone, and labrum's gone, and ankle's gone.
Oh man.
Lots of reconstructions.
You were an athlete.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I played, you know, college football and stuff.
Where'd you play ball at?
Just in Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 1AA, but
What
dropped out.
what position?
Tight end,
Oh,
athlete with the hands.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but lacrosse for me was I still wish I could go back and do it all over again. It
Such
was
a great sport.
unbelievable
Yeah.
sport. The
I-
best. The only
I got
sport
to
you can play
coach-
with a weapon.
Yeah, dude. Not only that, dude, and like I always tell people, like I hit motherfuckers way harder in lacrosse than I ever did in football.
Yeah.
And I play fullback and middle linebacker in football.
Nice.
And bro, you as a big athletic person, you get to lay some fucking hammers on people in lacrosse.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I was good at, bro.
Yeah. It's such a good sport. But I think he'd be great to have on, and he could tell that story. And he's for me, like he's my he's kind of like my mentor now, and he keeps it really real with me, like really real. But dude's an absolute
It
savage.
probably gives you a lot of confidence with where you're going to take the brand too, though.
It does, because he
He's already
already
been
sees it.
Yeah.
He already sees it. He's like, Pete, like not in a humble way. Like
Yeah.
there's absolutely a trajectory. I don't know if you've got ADHD. I was diagnosed with ADHD as a kid. My mom didn't put me on drugs, but like I'm the same way. You see patterns. He sees patterns. I'm sure you see patterns. I see patterns to things. He was able to build, and I'll actually plug his new method and mindset class, because entrepreneurs that have built companies at that level do not make themselves available.
No, they don't.
And he is, but he was able to build systems and processes after seeing the patterns of being the officer of a public company, or the CEO of the company. He was able to put together a system to do things that he got his dopamine from, with his ADHD personality and loving chaos and organizing chaos. He created a different model, and that's how he operated the company. And so he built not $1 billion company. He did that 5 times over in 5 different categories.
Mm-hmm.
So it like what he was able to do, and he says, Pete, I lived 10 lifetimes in 20 years at Under Armour. What he did was undeniable. And so when he looks at us, he sees the pattern to it. And so he's always like, he's already made the tuition payments. And so I know I'll make some still, but I don't want to make a lot more. You know what I mean? So he's
trying
always
to keep him to a minimum.
Yeah, he's always trying to keep us on track, and he does. He works directly with my chief operating officers and revenue officers and CFO and directors of finance. I embed him with each department based on projects, which he has autonomy over. Carte blanche. He has complete autonomy over, regardless of who they are in the company. And so it's been good.
Does he share the vision? I'm sure he does, because he's bought in with you guys. But does he share the same take in terms of the tide and the wind changing directions in terms of
100%?
Okay, good. That's good to hear. 100%.
Yep.
Because I'm pretty confident, and I see the data, and because I have we have retail stores called Supplement Superstores. That was our first business,
right?
And that's where First Form was born out of.
Yes.
And we still have them. We have a ton of them. I don't even know how many stores we have now. But the numbers of this, we're setting fucking records, bro.
Really?
And the reason we're setting records at retail isn't because retail is dying. It's because people are changing their focus away. Like we did this poll internally for First Form, where we went and we polled our customers who had shopped with us previously, but hadn't shopped with us in the last 90 days.
Yep.
So we wanted to reach back out with them and figure out, did we do something wrong, or what could we have done better? We want to find out what was going on. The first reason was that they were pregnant, okay, and that they were stopping using supplements because they were pregnant and they didn't want to use them. That was the first reason. That's okay. That makes sense. Maybe there's lots of healthy ways to do that, but that's your decision. I totally get it. That was a reassuring thing. It wasn't like, hey, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? The second reason, and this is the big reason, was that they were choosing to buy our products. They were still buying our products, but they were choosing to buy our products through individual retailers that were owned in their communities. I thought that was fucking awesome.
Support their
local
business.
Yes, I thought that was fucking awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah, even though I don't make as much money doing that, right? I thought it was awesome because it told me where people's minds are.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, and I thought that was extremely valuable information, and it's reflective in our retail company that's not affiliated with First Form because our retail sales are going way up.
Yeah.
And I think people are not shopping with the Amazons anymore. I think they still are because it's such an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, we still shop with Amazon occasionally. I fucking hate it. And I try to break that habit as much as possible.
Yeah.
But I think everybody's kind of in that same boat where they're still kind of doing it here and there, but they're making a concerted effort, which goes back to your question about the obligation
of the consumer.
Yeah. And I think, Pete, you nailed that, bro, because like, it's not like this is a free country, man. You're not obligated to buy anything. You buy from whatever.
Yep.
But if you truly care about America and you truly care about what the things that we're talking about, there is a responsibility to be informed about where your money's going and where it's ending up.
And as a brand, you have a great opportunity because I think the new model is direct to consumer. There's an opportunity to make that real connection with the consumer so they know not just where the money's going, but what it's being used for too. Like you guys built an empire here. That cost money. You got 400 employees. That costs money. Those 400 employees have families. They have bills to pay, mortgages, cars. You're growing, expanding. It's a model that people should be exposed to, and that story should be told. And as a direct to consumer business, there's just a great opportunity to reinforce and codify that emotional connection between the brand or the movement and between the consumer.
One thing I really like that you do well, that I respect, entrepreneur to entrepreneur, is you guys are great storytellers. You guys tell a great story, and it's a real story. It's not a lie. It's not fabricated, and you do it in a way that's compelling. And even if I didn't know you, even if I didn't know Jocko, I would watch your storytelling and be like, yeah,
that's fucking
I want to
awesome.
fucking support that.
Mhm.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's amazing, bro. You guys are one of the best, if not the best companies that I've seen do that.
I appreciate that. It's and that means a lot, especially coming from you. It's been kind of a model of, it was just from day one, we're like, let's just show the world what we're doing in the ebbs and flows of business. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. Let's not try to put a face on like in chest pound. Like we're going to make mistakes. Like our first 200 geese, we made all the color washed out of them because we know what the frig we're doing, and the consumer hang on for that. But a friend of mine, Joe Massey, says, fix the problem, market the fix. And I kind of took it a step further, which is just market the problem, and then also market the fix. And that gives people the idea that of people should arm themselves with knowledge and education. If you can show them the difficulties, it actually, the wizard behind the curtain is now like, oh, it's just a short man. It's just a small guy pulling the levers. So when you can market the problem, you create awareness around the problem. Hey, we have a problem. There's one denim mill left in America, and the only reason it didn't get destroyed during the Civil War is because the dude who owned the mill was a Mason. So they shut it down and they kept it. And if they burned that mill down, as the Union Army went south, burning cotton, ripping up railroads, we actually wouldn't be able to make denim in America anymore. There's one mill left. It's a single point of failure.
That's crazy, dude.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So we are marketing, and sometimes I'll like travel, be like, yeah, I just want to show you guys like why this mill still exists, and here's a problem. It still exists, but it's the only one that exists, and we gotta fix that. We gotta create redundancy. So market the problem, market the fix the problem, market the fix, whatever it is. We try to really own that every single day.
I think you guys are a great example too. You know that I do Arte Syndicate, I think, with Ed Milet.
Yes.
We coach a lot of entrepreneurs. And one of the things that we teach in there a lot, that I think you're a great example of, is telling a story about what your purpose is to your customer base to build trust, education, loyalty. And it's what I think is cool about, because like what they always say to me, they're like, yeah, dude, but you're in fitness. You could tell these great stories of people transforming their lives. True. But you can tell a story as well about whatever it is that you're doing.
It's gonna have conviction.
Dude, you've taken something that if I said to most of these guys, I say, hey, tell me a story about jeans. They'd be like, what's cool about jeans?
Yeah.
And you've taken something that would be hard for most people to conceptualize in a brand story and you've made it fucking awesome, dude.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
no, it's
Thank
an
you.
amazing example. And so I think all of you entrepreneurs out there who struggle with brand storytelling, you need to pay attention to Origin and what Pete's doing and what the guys are doing up there, because they're taking something that most people would have a hard time telling a story about and making it extremely compelling. And it's true. It's real. It's not bullshit. It's real shit. And like, if you could tell a great story about fucking jeans, bro, what can you not tell a great story about? And I mean that with a lot of respect.
Anything.
I don't mean that with disrespect.
Yeah, you can tell a great story about anything.
That's right.
If you believe in what you're doing,
Yeah.
and have conviction. I think conviction is the most important thing. And if you have the humility to talk about your mistakes, or like I said, I call them tuition payments. Talk about your tuition payments. People right now, if they want to consume real stuff, and because they are smart, we talked about that earlier, because they are smart, they're gonna sort through the bullshit. Oh, that guy is a fake, that guy's a phony, that guy's an actor, and that guy's for real. And I think it's why more people that are real, like you folks with like the top podcasts in the world, you're real, and celebrities are actors and they're fake. I think there's
that's why they can't even break in the top 100
that's why they can't break in.
Yeah.
Or even product.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
that shit ain't working anymore.
It's inauthentic.
Yeah.
And then the consumer can read through the bullshit. And that's also part of the awakening.
Dude, that's crazy you brought that up, because I've noticed that too. Like in the last 3 years, dude, like it used to be celebrities could just come up with shit.
Yeah.
And people would buy it.
Yep.
And I have seen that fucking totally change in the very, very quick.
Yeah, it's been recent.
Yeah. It's like, I think people are totally rejecting. Here's what I think. I think that when celebrities came out and pushed that COVID narrative and made it seem like people were pieces of shit if they didn't, you know, these people calling you, you know, fucking telling you that you shouldn't have your kids and you should be in a fucking camp.
Grandma killers.
You should be out of society. Like when Hollywood came out and did that to the average person in America, they said, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
And we're to that point now where like those people are learning that lesson painfully.
Yeah.
Because they can't sell the shit they were selling 3 years ago anymore.
Yep.
Nobody's buying it.
People are now like, you know what? Those people are not us. We're going to shop with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a great thing that's been happening the last 3 years. All in all, dude, I feel very hopeful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm full of hope. And like I said, I've spent the last, few years traveling all over the world trying to find the stories and the why. And there's been a lot of, it's not just America, like manufacturing has been lost in Italy, in England, in France, in Scotland. It wasn't just us with the World Trade Organization that lost. Everybody lost. And everybody actually wants the same thing.
Is there a resurgence of this happening there too? Because I'm not aware of that.
I don't know necessarily if there's a resurgence, but I can tell you through our, because we have that direct relationship with a customer like you guys do, the amount of people I get, like, gonna sound crazy. We have a huge fan base in Germany, in Russia, in England. And these are folks that are like, I wish somebody would do this here. I'm not an American, but this American spirit and the idea of the American dream is what the world bought into. They all bought into this idea of American dream. That's why so many immigrants came here. And they want to continue to buy into that as long as it's available for them to do so. And hopefully we're just inspiring people to take the next step. But I think the effect America has on other folks in other countries is massive. And they actually see us going a different direction. And they're actually saddened by that. Like over there.
Bro, I've heard a lot of that too.
Dude,
I've heard this a lot the last 3 years. You motherfuckers better not lose, because if you lose, we all lose.
100%.
Yeah.
I was sitting with a guy.
I've heard that from people in Europe and in South America.
Yep. We got to win.
Yeah.
I was having a drink with a member of parliament in England, and he was like, "Oh, man, what has gone into you guys?" He's like, "Your politics are all fucked up," And it's just. And I was like, "Yeah, man, you're right." And he's like talking about America like it's still the colonies, and it's like an exercise. You know what I mean? And And when you step back and you step out of the trenches and you kind of look at us, you're like, man, we got some problems to solve. And this world is actually, they need us to solve the problems. Because if we don't, we won't be first.
Dude, there will be no first. There will be China, and then there will be everybody else.
Yep.
That's what it will be. And it will be a global surf system.
They control production.
That's it.
They control production.
And when they
of
control
everything.
When they control production, what can they do to production?
There you go. There you go.
An off switch.
They can turn it the fuck
Turn it off. They turn it off.
anytime they want for any reason.
Yep.
You used the wrong pronouns today.
Yes.
Yeah. Boom.
Well, that's
done.
yeah. That's a whole nother thing. But, dude, how what's in the future for you guys in terms of? I mean, you don't have to share if you don't want to.
No,
strategically.
Strategically,
I'm just curious.
you know, I been working on in the background on. I want to build America's future factory. I have an idea for what America's future factory looks like and how to connect the worker to the consumer in a different way, through the journey of the consumer. They bought a pair of boots, and I want them to have full visibility into the blockchain of manufacturing that pair of boots, the hands that touched it, the why behind it, the sustainability of it. At the same time, America's future factory for me is an environment where people walk into and they feel fulfilled with, mass timber, natural wood, and light, and solar, and geothermal, and green roofs, and not a preschool, but like childcare, and a cafeteria, in a home, in it being visible and available as a recruiting tool and as a way to drive consumer behavior.
Almost like an experience.
And it's going to be an experience ultimately. So at some point, I know this sounds crazy, and you probably do the same thing. I work in 10-year blocks.
Yeah.
So
I work in 3-year blocks.
3-year blocks. Yeah. So like our first 10 years we just completed, we started building factory in my backyard with not 2 nickels to rub together, a bucket to piss in 2013. We said, hey, here's a factory. We had a bunch of timber sawn out. We did an old school barn raising, bought some old L bean sewing machines that were headed for the scrap pile, and started up a generator and started trying to sew stuff. And so now 2023 marks our 10 years of manufacturing. So I have a vision for the next 10 years, which is this factory and campus, similar to this, a little bit different, but very similar. And then eventually retail stores. I want to be able to tie the consumer to the factory. So when you go into an Origin Out factory store in whatever, Kalispell, or Dallas, you're purchasing a pair of jeans or a boot or a hoodie, and the factory that built that is there. You can see the people making the product. And inside that factory will be a store rep that says, hey, John, thanks for your order. And the factory says, thanks, John. And you have this emotional experience like, whoa, I just bought that and they made it and they just thanked me. That person takes the product home and they can scan a QR code and they can see the story of making their jeans and everybody it touched. And then they can communicate through social media with the person offline. Let's say they post a picture of their jeans. Now you have employees commenting on, yeah, I made that product. And you build this relationship. So it becomes about the people, not about the profit. And profit is inevitable. You're gonna drive a big business. We call it, a lot of people say, oh, we're building a unicorn. A unicorn is $1 billion company. I think unicorns are soft and weak, so we call it a Yeti. We call it a main Yeti. That's what we're trying to do. Build $1 billion company, not because that's the goal, because for me, it's the process in between. I just want to extend that for as long as I can, living in that process. But I know us building a Yeti, us building $1 billion brand, I know the impact that's going to have on America. I know we're going to own 10 factories and we're going to outsource to 20 factories. Bro, you guys are going to be
way bigger than $1 billion.
Yeah. So
way bigger.
That's the dream. That's the goal. And it's not a dream. It's just, we just have to realize it. Yeah. We just got to take the next steps. And our word of the year at Origin is sequencing. And we have 4 initiatives, but the word of the year is sequencing. Everything we do will be sequenced. And that's it. That's what we're doing.
Bro,
That's
I
fucking
love it,
awesome.
dude. It's
Appreciate
it's funny. I don't know how much you talk to Sal. We have done what you have done, which is built a loyal customer base based around authenticity, trust, and the proper values that people want to support with their dollars.
Yep.
Mhm. They're no longer fucking wanting that bullshit.
No, dude,
Yeah.
listen, man. They want shit they believe in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Real
do.
talk.
And they want that experience too. They want to, like, if there's an opportunity for them to go and see, because we're so disconnected from reality through this digital device, when you have that opportunity to go and see, it's like, instead of going to Disneyland, instead of going on vacation, we're going to go and we're going to experience this. Like,
Mhm.
we found that with our immersion camp we have every year. We have people coming from all over the world to this camp every year. It's only 400 people, but it's 400 people that are paying money to be there for a week to experience something.
Yeah.
And
they're giving up a week of their life.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not just the money, man.
Yep.
You know, one of the coolest things that we do here at First Form is our Summer Smash event.
Yeah.
And we have, you know, we basically we have an event every summer where our customers get to come and we get to hang with them and, you know, visit with them and work out with them and, you know, press the flesh and all that shit. Right.
Yeah.
And one of the coolest things about that event is that when people leave, they take that home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When they come to your immersion camp, they take that shit home, bro.
Yeah.
And that's a cultural change. And you know, one of the things I've always appreciated about Summer Smash was that, you know, these people that come, they're not rich people. It's not a bunch of rich people that come. It's regular folks.
Yeah.
And they come and they give up their family vacations. They give up their time for the summer. They come to spend it here. You know what I'm saying? It fucking means a lot, dude.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel proud that you're doing something that means at least that much to people, that where they're willing to give up their time to come spend it with you.
Yeah.
It's something that it almost makes me emotional talking about, because it means something to us. You know what I mean?
You guys are doing it right.
Yeah.
Crush it, man. I walked into that locker room and you had the whole setup. Like,
Yeah.
somebody spent some time learning who I was
Yeah.
to put that package together.
Yeah. Well, bro, we don't know any other way, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you guys don't either. Like, it's, you know, I think people get the idea of business and they look at, like, you know, I think especially where we're at now, they don't look at us maybe as a small company anymore. They look at us as a mid-size or a bigger company. And the truth is that we're not. We're just a fucking bunch of small, regular people that are trying to do something special.
Yeah.
And I don't know any other way, dude. You know, like, the first customer I ever saw was one of my friends. The second customer I ever saw, I completely fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's where I started. And you know, I don't know, man. I guess we'll see if we can do it or not. But
Oh, you can do it.
yeah, well, time will tell. But we're all in.
Yeah.
It is what
You
it
gotta
is.
be.
Yeah,
Head first, arms tucked.
that's right. Yeah, no shit, dude. Well, bro, listen, man. I really appreciate you coming and visiting and being on the show and sharing with everybody. I know everybody's going to love this show,
Awesome.
and just appreciate what you guys are doing, what you guys stand for, and if there's any way that I can support, or, you know, we can support, bro, it's, you know, you just let us know.
I appreciate
Pete,
it.
where
Thanks for
where
having
can
me
people
on.
find you at, Pete? Social media?
Yeah, I mean, the for the company, it's originusa.com, and then on Instagram, it's originusa. And I'm on Instagram too. I don't really like talk a lot about my personal Instagram. It's all about the business, but it's Pete.origin on Instagram. So
Yeah. Well, thank you,
appreciate it.
brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Truly appreciate it, man.
Awesome.
All right, guys, that's the show. Make sure you share the show. Buy some Origin shit. It's really good stuff. I got gifted a pair of boots, and I own a couple pair of jeans, and I can tell you for sure, and I mean this, I'm not just saying this shit, it's the best shit I've ever fucking had.
Appreciate that.
So love you guys. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you next time.